Good afternoon, Rebel Nation. This is Andrew Stroud, host of the Rebel Rundown. And sorry I couldn't upload a video last night because I was just so angry and upset over the Rebels losing to the Wyoming Cowboys by a score of 66-98 in Laramie, Wyoming. I'll talk about my initial reactions when the game was over, or the game was over quite a bit into the first half or second half, either way you look at it. It was really over since the Wyoming Cowboys they started their run early in the first half and they never looked back. And UNLV, I worried about this in the conference game where you have one of these horrible losses. These are one of the losses you have to, look back on, and I mean, you can't look back on. You can't, regret it because this is just the past. I was so mad. I was so mad. I was fuming. My whole body was hot because of how poor of a performance UNLV had last night. And I didn't want to post a video because it was 7 o'clock when the game started, Pacific time, PM. And the game ended at like 9:30. And I wasn't going to make a video, 20-minute video, 10-minute, whatever it would be, for until 10 o'clock, maybe 10:30, and try to upload it. I gave up, and I was just like, there's no reason. I mean, if the Rebels found a way and won the game, that'd be another thing. Maybe there would be a video, that same night. There was no reason for it, and I was so mad. I didn't. I mean, I literally was. Uh, I was so angry. I can't even tell you how angry I was because every single play where it would be, let's say, Kamani Hamilton having a turnover, or you know Jacob Benarby missing a layup, or Emmanuel Stephan fouling again and he fouled out, or Isaac Williamson getting his layup blocked, or his fadeaway blocked by Wyoming, or if it was Dre Gibbs Lawhorn getting pissed off, and or even Tyron Jones maybe missing a free throw. The list goes on. The list goes on, and it's just like what? Why am I even watching this game? Why am I even torturing myself watching this horrible game where you actually weren't the favorites in this game. I will admit that. Wyoming was a 3.5 point favorite, not a 30.5 point favorite. And that's what it looked like literally last night. And they won by 32 points. Wyoming destroyed us in almost literally every category, I believe. We were 38% from the field. They were 55. We were 45% from the three-pointer. They were 43%. I will give us that, but there is a big but to that. We only shot 11 threes. They shot 21. So in reality, you look at it. Oh, we did have a better three-point percentage, 45 compared to 43%, but we made 5 and they made 9 out of 21. Free throw percentage. This is where it gets pretty gruesome. We are 25. We were 25 of 45. We missed 20. Yes, 20 free throws, and they only missed 6 out of 29. We had 45 times at the line, at the free throw line, and we only made 25. We missed 20. We were 56% from the line. They were 79%. I mean, you just think of that, first of all. You think you're down by 32. If you make, let's say, 15 of those 20 missed, you're kind of in the game. And this is still playing absolutely horrible. This is just making, not all your free throws, the majority of the free throws you take. If you make 80%, you're not, oh, it's like a tie game, but you're still in competition in this game. You're not absolutely getting destroyed. And you look at it, we only scored 26 points in the first half. They scored 48. I mean, that right there, that just shows and proves that we sometimes have these slow starts, and that's what ends up having us, giving us the L on the season. And it wasn't like we did any, a lot better in the second half. I mean, we did score 14 more points. We scored 40 points in the second half, but they scored 2 more points than what they did in the first. They scored 50. They scored 50 points in the second half and 48. So they barely missed scoring triple digits on us and scored 98 points when we only scored 66. And this is another thing that I don't think I brought up in the Air Force after the Air Force game in that reaction video, but I did think about it, and we only scored 67 points in that Air Force game. We scored 66 points in this game, and it's just like you have to have a better offense than this. And once again, you look at the free throws and how pathetic we are at the free throw line this year, how pathetic we are at the 3-point line this year, and how pathetic we are at missing layups. Pastner literally talked about it after the game on 1100 a.m. He talked about how many layups. I think that was one of the first things he talked about. First off, how badly we played. Secondly, how soft we played. And the next thing he talked about was how many layups we missed. We missed so many layups. That's 2 points. And there were many, many, many times where we would go for an and one, but we wouldn't make the shot. We'd get fouled. The refs called a bunch of fouls. I mean, that was one of the things. We had 26 personal fouls. Wyoming had 31. Wyoming had 31 personal fouls. That's what? When you do the math, that's what? 57 fouls in a game? That's unbelievable. You can say, the refs, they might be the reason, and I would honestly agree with you. But you're still, 38% from the field. And the majority of your shots based off the stat sheet of your 3-point attempts only being 11 out of 48 attempts from the field, you're still 38% from the field. And a lot of those shots that we missed were layups. You want to, blame something else, blame this or that. In reality, you have to have a better defense, obviously. You can't allow 98 points a game. But also, offensively, we are struggling. You can't tell me that, Emmanuel Stephan deserves playing time if he's a center and, he has 0 points and he fouls out only playing for 11 minutes. Or Isaac Williamson, he had 9 points. He had one of our only threes, I think. No, I'm sorry. Howie Fleming made 1 3-pointer, and that was his only attempt. Dre made 2, of course. He makes the threes. But you look at Isaac, he was 4 of 6 from the free throw line. And that's almost, that and the 3-point shot, that's the majority of his points. You look at that and you say, well, geez, he was 2 for 6 from the field. Well, why would that be? Oh, maybe because he misses his layups, or he just gets blocked on. I've seen it so many times. They literally got blocked. They got dominated on in the paint by Wyoming. I mean, I want to look at this. I haven't even looked at it. I'm going to look at it here. Okay, Wyoming, we both tied for 7 steals. Uh, we had 4 blocks. Wyoming had 3. Oh, wonder why. Tyron had all 4 of them. I mean, literally, the only bright spot on this team is Tyron Jones, and I am not kidding you. Jacob Benarby, it's kind of disgraceful. He played, only 13 minutes and he only had 4 points, 1 rebound, 1 rebound, and you're like the 2 guy, as far as the starter, or not 2, sorry, 4 guy, maybe even 5. Tyron, he, they're about the same size. Jacob Benarby has more weight definitely than Tyron Jones. You look at that and you're like, well, why is he even in the game? Um, Kamani Hamilton had the most turnovers on the team, and he's the senior that's supposed to lead this team. That's unacceptable. Dre Gibbs Lawhorn getting, you know, pissed off. I think he got pissed off at Tyron Jones. I saw that one time in the second half where, I think he got dunked on or, gave up a stupid play. And I guess he blamed Jones on there without, uh, you know, taking, advantage of your your guy, I mean, yes, you can blame Tyron all you want, but he's the reason why, this team is even in the game. Kamani Hamilton, he scored the most points, but Tyron Jones, he had 16 points. He had the most rebounds on the team. He had the most blocks on the team. He's tied for the most offensive rebounds and tied for the most defensive rebounds. I mean, what do you want? What else do you need to say about this player? Yes, he's a freshman. He'll make those mistakes, but he is the leader as far as stats go on the team. And you look at Wyoming's bench. I mean, Wyoming's bench, they have the most, I think they're the best bench in the Mountain West Conference as far as men's basketball goes. And we probably have the worst bench. Let's see, for combined points, okay, Isaac Williamson had 9. The rest of the bench had 0. 0. Walter Brown, he played for 11 minutes. He had 0 points. He had 1 rebound, 0 assists, 0 turnovers, 0 steals, 0 blocks. So a lot of it's 0. Nas Cunningham, he played for 7 minutes. He had 0 points, 1 rebound. The rest are zeros. Emmanuel Stephanie only had 4 rebounds, but he had 5 fouls. And Al Green, he did absolutely nothing. He played for 4 minutes. So it's just horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. Like what else can I say about this team? You even your head coach says we just played bad. That's what he said. He literally said we just played bad tonight. That's all he said. And we played soft. We didn't have intensity. We missed layups. Like that's the first thing he says. That's obviously concerning. And I talked about how, in the Air Force game, the reaction video to that, I said, oh, I do actually have hope for this team. All that hope is lost after last night's game. Now we will see what happens at Colorado State, but by the way they just played shows me that they don't have clear consistency. This team hasn't had consistency since the non-conference. I mean, the non-conference was the worst out of all of them, where you beat a team like Stanford, I said this before, and you lose to a team like Tennessee State at home. Stanford was an away game, and you beat them by a point, and then you lose by, I think, 3 or 4 or 5, to a team like Tennessee State, which is like the worst loss of the season. Or the first game of the season, you lose to UT Martin. But then, all of a sudden, after a wacky 1-2 start to the season, you beat Memphis by 15. I mean, this team is so inconsistent. There are some, not even possessions, more so like groups of possessions where you're like, this is a solid Mountain West team. We will beat like the majority of these Mountain West teams by a decent margin because of how well we look. And then the next few groups of possessions or games, it's like we literally can't beat a Division two school. Like literally, UT Martin isn't a Division one school, I think. And I, correction here. I think I said Montana wasn't a D2 or wasn't a D1 school. It is. It's FCS, but it is still a D1 program. So apologies for that. I think I said that last video. But still, you lose to them by I think 9 points at home. It and this is the first game, the first actual game. Well, besides Stanford, where it's an actual away game, and there was a bit of a crowd. There obviously was a buzz after the way that the Cowboys started the game, and when you look back at it, um, we just don't even know like our team. Like we know how we play at home, kind of. It's kind of here and there, and with away games, heck, I mean, it was a close game at Stanford. We could have lost that game. And with this blowout against a conference team, heck, we could be screwed. I think we are screwed. I think so. I said we lost all. I lost all hope. I think a lot of Rebel fans lost all hope. You try to bring fans into the Thomas and Mack, that was probably the best crowd that we had last game. Against Air Force. There's not going to be a lot of fans at that Boise State game. I guarantee it. You're going to have to beat a team like Colorado State. You can't be on a 2 game losing streak heading into your next home game. We're talking about growing here, not a roller coaster like we've said previously. If you have a roller coaster, it's inconsistent. There's no linear path or growth to having a successful year, and you can't make mistakes like this in the conference. So this is why I just don't have hope. The only hope I have is in number 6 Tyron Jones, our freshman. And you look at the stats. Isaac Williamson, he was shaky, but he was one of the freshmen who had, I think he was top 4 in points, almost top 3 with him getting 9 and Dre just getting 10 barely. And you just think of the leaders on the team, which should be Kamani and Dre. They were not the leaders in the game. And even Emmanuel Steffen, he is a sophomore, or is he a redshirt freshman? I believe he's a redshirt or he might be a sophomore, one of the two. Anyways, he's the biggest guy on the field, and he got 0 points. He's sloppy. I mean, all Wyoming has to do, all any team has to do, is just double him, trap him. He's not going to pass the ball out. He's not going to be able to do that, and he knows that, and I feel like he doesn't have confidence, and I can't believe it. But honestly, his best game was his first game against Stanford. At Stanford, he had his best game. I forgot how many points he scored, but it wasn't even just about the points that he scored. It was just he contributed. He contributed to this team. Being on the bench and literally not contributing at all, not even having the most rebounds on the team, even though you're the tallest guy on the team, you have half of what Tyron Jones has. Tyron Jones was the only one that really was hustling. Dre was trying to hustle, and he got mad. And there's so many holes, and I wish I could have seen what Miles Shea would have done to this team. At least I could have seen one game or even a preseason game. He was supposed to play, I think, the second preseason game against that one random team, but it doesn't matter. At least just seeing what he could do. And we miss a player like that. Dre Gibbs Longhorn didn't look like a professional point guard with, he had 2 huge turnovers. I remember when they were. And, only having 10 points and only 2 assists. As a point guard. The whole team having only 5 assists, only having 5 assists to Wyoming having 16. That's how this game turned out the way it was, and I feel stupid. I really do. I feel stupid for you know having too much hope for this team, even though I've seen games before where they just don't show up. And that you could say this is a fluke, this is this or that, but when you have these kinds of games over and over and over again, it's not a fluke. It's not. And you know, you could say it was a fluke against UT Martin. You could say it was a fluke against Montana. You could say it was a fluke of a loss against Tennessee State. But now when you're in conference play and you're facing a tougher team that was 10-4, now 11-4 after this win against your team, there's a reason why they beat you by 32 points. There's a reason. And that reason is because they are a better team than UT Martin or Montana or Tennessee State. They are a better team, and they proved it, way better team, and they're a way better team than you. So that I guess that's where I'm going to leave it at. There's nothing much else I need to say except I lost all hope. And I said it, I typed it in the YouTube post yesterday night because I was like, there's no way I'm going to post a video. I posted and I literally said on there, this team was pathetic and this team was I lost hope for the team, or hopeless. I forgot what I said, but I definitely said that this team is pathetic, and that is exactly what the team was last night. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't shoot from three because they didn't want to shoot from three. They were nervous. They were worried because they know they can't shoot from three. They can't make their layups. They can't make their free throws. Those three things, you're like, okay, yeah, you shouldn't win a game if you can't do any of those three things. And for that reason, that's why we got our butts kicked by 32 points to Wyoming. And to be frank, I don't even remember the last time we lost to Wyoming in Laramie. Honestly, I don't even remember. So it was not a pretty sight last night. So I hope you guys understand of why, I just wanted to wait a little bit. I didn't want to post it right there because I would have been a lot more mad than how I am now because I rested, I recharged a little bit, and I kind of forgot about it for a little bit, which I should have done, and I did. So I'm glad for that. So anyways, I will definitely post another video probably Friday night, hopefully, if they win against Colorado State, or even if it's a close game. If it's a close game and it's not a blowout, if it's a blowout, I'll probably post a reaction video probably on that Saturday because I once again won't have the energy. It's also a 7 o'clock tip, and I am hopeless. I am hopeless for this team, and but. Please let me know in the comments what you guys think, and please let me know your opinions about just anything, like any players, any of the games previously. Just let me know on that, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.